Recording.
All right. So good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining San Ramon User Group meeting for October month. We are so excited and honored to welcome Mark to our user group today. Have you used some sizzling chat GPT prompts to skyrocket your sales? Let us say you own a flower shop and struggling with growth. All you need to do is download the Chat GPT app, and you have your business coach available to you 24/7. Or else you can have email extravaganza help you design email campaigns or social media sizzle. Ask ChatGPT, guide me through the creation of social media strategy with the right moves. Your shop will sizzle across all social media platforms. Finally, Content Carnival asks ChatGPT, help me develop a content marketing plan. With ChatGPT, effective prompts can make your product or service offerings blast off, ensuring elevated sales and successful business trajectory. So, Mark Good, founder of AI Training and AI Expert, will walk us through tips and tools for accelerating adoption of AI for Salesforce. Next. So thanks for joining today, and we appreciate your participation and support. This is a little about me. I am a co-founder and solution architect of CFO Squared and kindcause.org. I've been the community leader, San Ramon Salesforce admin user group since 2020. I have been 3 times Dreamforce speaker, active community member, and participant. I'm 14 times Salesforce certified, 17 super badges, and all-star ranger, now 673 badges. Proud of that. A lot of hard work. All right, Krish, you can do your introduction. Krish.
I know. Hi, guys. So my name is Krish. I'm a Salesforce developer for NPR. So I've been doing development for a long time. I have a computer science background, and I just love Salesforce ecosystem, love building stuff on top of it, and all these integrations. And I was at Dreamforce this year and spoke, so that was fun.
And he's 5 times certified.
Yeah, 5 times certified.
So Krish is bringing in his own flavor into our meetings, and he designed these very cool QR codes. You see, you can have a picture inside these codes. It's kind of innovative. So take a screenshot of this and connect with us. And so the first one is mine, second is Krish's, and third one is Kindex, a Kindex platform that Sunil and some of the people here have been working on. Sunil will talk about it in the non-profit roundtable. So the session is being recorded. You can ask the questions in the chat, and Mark will answer at the end of his presentation. And you can post your feedback in Twitter at San Ramon SFDC is our handle. And we've been active since 2020. This is our 3rd year running. I will share the links where you can follow us and connect with us. And one thing I want to say is that I want to do a little meditation for world peace, the One World family. It's called Vasudev Kutum, which means family. Kutum means family. Vasudev means one world. So one is kin, other is stranger. Say the small-minded. The wise know that the world is but a family. All beings are manifestations of same one cosmic vibration. So there's a universal peace chant, which is Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May there be well-being in all. May there be peace in everyone's life. May there be fulfillment in all. May there be auspiciousness in all. May peace prevail everywhere. This is the pyramid of health, harmony, peace, and well-being. Individual, and then the lowest is individual, and it goes on till cosmos. So family, individual, family, community, nature, ecosystems, and then cosmos. So there's Loka Samanta Sukhino Bhavantu. So let's just take 5 deep breaths to invoke world peace. So just inhale deep and expand yourself. Hold 5 seconds. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold 5 seconds. Exhale. So with these deep breaths, let us share power of positive mindset and incorporate mindfulness in our career. This is the Dreamforce recap. I'll send you the slide deck and you can take down those links. Those are links from Salesforce Plus, and they're amazing videos to look at on things like Prompt Builder, Einstein 1, Trailhead Listening, Data Cloud, True to the Core, Einstein Copilot, and Data Quest. And here we go. It's Mark's presentation. So I will hand it over to Mark to begin his presentation. Go ahead, Mark. I'll stop share and...
All right. Thank you so much for that wonderful meditation. That breathing actually helped my heart rate come down just a little bit. I always have a little bit of presentation nerves, but that's always nice. Some meditation before. So thank you so much, first of all, Sheeba, and to the whole San Ramon group for inviting me and just taking this moment to talk about artificial intelligence today and how it's affecting the Salesforce ecosystem. So just a big thanks and shout out. Thank you all for joining. And, I just want to say, I try to pack a punch. So keep up. I'm going to fly through this thing, but I do that because I really want to give you as much information as possible in the shortest amount of time possible. So please be patient with me. Keep up. But we're going to cover a lot of topics here. But just to start off, again, my name is Mark Good. I'm the founder of AI Force Training. And I think that your Salesforce career might have just changed forever. What could this possibly mean? I'm going to tell you what right now. But to answer that question, we are going to talk about a few of the hot key topics going on right now in the Salesforce ecosystem. We're going to talk about generative AI. I'm going to try to impart a little bit of new knowledge today. Hopefully cover something that you haven't heard before. We're going to talk about Einstein. We're going to talk about AI associates, so that AI associate cert, Flow GPT, a skill set within the Salesforce org, and then AI skills overall. Yep, okay, got it. All right, so what are we going to discuss in doing this? Here is our agenda for tonight. We're going to talk about generative AI and how it actually might take your job. And what is this thing anyway? We'll talk about AI for Trailblazers. We'll be covering things like the Einstein 1 platform, Copilot Studio, generative AI, and how it fits into all of those, all the architecture and the platforms. And then what can we actually do today? So some actual takeaways, and we'll talk about skills as well. So if you're joining virtual, have some fun in the comments. I didn't see the comments engaged or on, so I'm sure they're there though. So just have some fun and engage in the comments, because a lot of times you'll learn as much in the comments as you do in the actual presentation itself. And then if you're in the room, just hold on to your questions if you have some questions, and we'll cover those right after we finish. If I don't answer your questions today, that's okay, because you can just go ahead and connect with me on LinkedIn, scan that QR code. And if you have a moment, do that now, because I love to connect with everyone. I love to just talk about AI, GPT, and Salesforce all in one. And if you ever have burning questions, you can feel free to reach out anytime. I want to help everybody I possibly can on their AI journey. And the reason for that is because my mission is to actually accelerate the adoption of AI inside the Salesforce ecosystem. That's my 10-year goal. I started that, I guess, I don't know, it's been about a year and a half now, something like that. That's the mission. And I'm trying to accelerate the adoption as fast as I can. No matter what's going on in the ecosystem, I want to be the voice to help spur adoption. So let's begin with our agenda. We're going to talk about generative AI and how it could actually take your job. Okay, so maybe I'm being a little bit, having a little bit of fun here with it, because that's what everyone's fear is, everyone's concern. Can generative AI or AI actually replace us as humans or replace roles as humans? Here's just a fun example on the screen of generative AI in the physical world doing human activities. But what about in the actual Salesforce world? The Salesforce features that I'm about to show you right now are only available in the unlimited edition of your organization or unlimited edition orgs. So if you go poking around, you're not going to find these unless you have the unlimited edition. But I do want you to see this functionality. I want you to know what's coming. If you do have unlimited edition, go ahead and check this out. But if you don't, then you have to wait. It's not quite widely available yet. But again, going back to that one question, can AI really take my job? And I think to answer that question in the long run, what we have to look at is the actual capabilities of AI. And so we're seeing that roll out within the Salesforce org now with features like this. This is an example of AI performing customer service, like actual customer service function. So this, let's see, this is Service Cloud with Einstein Replies, also known as Copilot, Einstein Copilot. So this isn't your typical chatbot on the right-hand side where it says Einstein Replies. This is Einstein Copilot for Service Cloud, and it's going to provide responses that are grounded with customer information and chat information right inside this Service Cloud implementation of this case, this chat within a case or on a case. And here's the example. We have Arthur on a customer asking a question about a temperature rating of an Alpine jacket. And on the right, you've got Einstein Replies, who is getting that question and then using information inside of, you see on the right, it says sourced from commerce, actual gathering product information to answer the question for the customer. But the answer doesn't go straight to the customer. There's a user that sits in between the answer from Copilot and the customer. So we still have the human in the loop element here. And the human gets to choose whether that is a sufficient response. And if it is, they'll hit send reply and it goes back into the chat. And then if let's see here in this example, the customers come back with another statement. And so Einstein Replies has another reply on the right-hand side, another proposed reply. And then as a user, this time we're going to click the edit button and it's going to drop that reply right into the bottom chat box window. And then as a user, you can now edit the response before sending that back to the customer. As soon as the chat is completed, Einstein is going to go ahead and create that case summary, so an immediate case summary. And then you have an option, a button right there at the middle bottom, create knowledge article. So you can actually just go ahead and create an article automatically based on this chat. So this is AI. This is artificial intelligence doing its finest, and more specifically, generative AI in action. AI is really just a term that's a sort of an umbrella term that for a computer or an algorithm to perform a task that's thought only possible for human intelligence. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. But going back to that question about AI, can it take our jobs, and looking at the functionality here, if AI is capable of doing what you just saw here, okay, the question begs is what else is it capable of doing? And also, before I leave this slide, how awesome is this type of functionality? I think it's really great. But check this out, Copilot with Email Composer. And you've probably seen this demo maybe from Salesforce already, but I do want to talk about it and go a little bit in depth on it and what it means for us as Salesforce professionals. So look at this example of Einstein GPT Email Composer. We'll also probably call it Einstein Copilot Composer. The brand names are a little bit up in the air right now from Salesforce, but again, this is available currently for the unlimited edition orgs. But if you have it, you have it. That's great. Let's take a look at what's going on here in this email composer. You've got a button in the bottom right of this email composer called Einstein GPT. And clicking that button, you get to draft an email with pre-prompted email drafts. And so you can click one of those draft items to send, to compose an email that goes off to Jason, this particular customer or this contact. And in this first case, we chose to not use org data when composing this email. So you get a really generic, broad email that now as a user, you have to go through and update. But we also have the Einstein trust layer. So we can trust using customer data and compose an email which I just flipped screens here, choosing a different option to use customer data and actually compose an email that's way closer to something that you could actually send off to a customer with less user input prior to sending that. This is really, really nice. So this is a great opportunity for AI. Text generation is something that generative AI is really good at. Writing emails is just a great, simple example of something that you can do to make that happen. And just think how much time users can save if you can quickly write emails in this way. So responding to customers and writing emails, these are things that AI can do really effectively. So this begs the question again, talking about, in the future, could it possibly take our jobs? It's always fun to talk about that. What other things could AI do today that sort of gives us clues as to what the future will look like with AI within our workflow? So we're still learning about all of the different ways that we can deploy AI and generative AI to tackle support for humans, but can generative AI replace you? No, and it won't replace you, and it's not going to. But what you're going to see happen over time is this evolution of skill set. We'll slowly be stepping away from certain functions that we would have to perform manually as humans, and we'll slowly start to add on and augment our roles, even as Salesforce professionals managing the org, but especially also end users who are using the org, augment our roles. And so our skill sets are going to change. And that's what we're seeing today. We're starting to see the first seeds of skill set change over time. It's not going to be immediate. It's going to take its time. But AI is here to support you and help you go faster and actually get better quality work out of what you do. There was a study done by Stanford and Boston Consulting Group. One of the results of the study was a 40% quality of work improvement that's achieved if you simply use ChatGPT alone. So if you use ChatGPT, you can expect about a 40% improvement in quality of work that you do. I think that's a fantastic statistic. You can also get, I think the other statistic was 25% more. You can accomplish 25% more. This is true for Salesforce end users. And like I mentioned, it's also true for Salesforce professionals. So this image on the screen here is just a fun example of an AI robot working on a flow, on a Salesforce flow. And someday AI will actually be able to create these flows like this based on our own business requirements that we give it, but it can't do that today. But what it can do today is something called AI inside of a flow, or AI infused in a flow. This is AI inside a flow doing its AI generative functions. This is actually a feature that I'm about to show you, and it's a feature that we actually offer today that you can use today. We train you on this type of functionality today inside of AI Force training. So you can get this today. You can go through the training today and learn how to use this today. So just like the other two examples I went through, I'm going to show you what this looks like, how it works, and what it does. So we call this Flow GPT with AI actions inside the flows. So this is an AI action inside of your standard flow functionality that you have from Salesforce. So if you know flows, you can learn, or if you're learning flows, or if you care to learn flows, you can also learn AI inside of a flow via Flow GPT as well. So let's look at this example of AI performing actions behind the scenes within a flow for end users. In this example, we're working inside the Sales Console. You have a case, and this case showed up with an email to case. We have that standard functionality that's set up in the org. The company sells generators, and this customer is having an issue where their generator just keeps shutting down. So that's a case that got created from that email to case. A human has not touched the case yet. And what we have set up behind the scenes is a flow. We used your basic functionality of a flow. We created a trigger that when a new case hits the org, we want this flow to happen, or this flow to run. So what's going to happen here is the flow is going to run. And on the right-hand side, you have 3 fields: AI summary translation, and AI suggested resolution. We're going to talk about what happens with those 3 fields when this flow runs. But first, I want to show you the flow. The actions inside the flow are the 3 blue boxes. The first one is that case summarization. The second one is the summary translation. And the third one is the predicting the resolution for that particular case. Now, AI case summary, that's pretty much you're feeding the case information to AI, AI is digesting that and just creating a quick summary. So when the user shows up to the case, they don't have to scroll through 2 pages of details, depending on how large your page layouts are, how you have that set up. They just have one block that they go to. It's a quick summary of the case, which is really nice. We have the translation. So if you have a global workforce, multiple languages, AI can translate information on the case. In this case, we're going to translate the actual summary itself from English to Spanish in this particular example for a global workforce. And then that third blue box, we're predicting the suggested resolution. This one is my favorite. So predicting the suggested resolution with AI involves a prompt that you build. It involves referencing a source information document, such as the one you see on the screen, that's actually in the Salesforce org and being referenced by AI. AI is looking for what could potentially be a correct response to the case issue for the customer, and then proposing that response on the record itself with the suggested resolution. I think this is one of the coolest things that you can do with AI today, actually inside the Salesforce org. So here we have the final result. And again, just remember, an end user just showed up to the org for the first time to look at this case. They opened up the case, and all of this information is already there because we allowed AI to be an assistant for us and infused it in the flow, told it what to do, gave it the right prompts, and had it generate this AI summary, the AI summary translation into Spanish, and thirdly, the suggested resolution, which in this case, we audit it as Salesforce professionals creating prompts and getting responses. We audit the responses, make sure we're getting good responses from the AI, and then we deploy that for end users into the org. Okay, actually, before I go on from that, let me just make sure. Yeah, this is so this is just one example of AI being used to complete tasks for cases, but you can obviously imagine how many other use cases there are for AI inside of a flow. A task, here's 3 examples of a task that you could assign to a record, but the world is yours. It's almost like you're an artist with a paintbrush, and you can go out and deploy AI however it makes sense for your specific business process. As long as you can build a flow in your org and you can trigger specific actions, you can include AI within that and start creating your future state of your org with AI. So this is something that we offer today through AI Force training. We give you the tool set that you need for that flow GPT, the actions within the flow. And then we also give you the prompt engineering training and so on. And I can give you a little bit of more information on that in just a little bit here. But I want to talk to you about generative AI, the tech, because the tech that performs the things that I showed you in the previous examples is so important. And AI for Trailblazers is a really exciting topic. So I just really encourage you to dive in. If you're not excited about AI yet, I really hope you get there soon. I hope you see the value, especially after the examples that I showed you. I hope you see by the end of this presentation how important your skill set is when it comes to artificial intelligence. So this is going to be your kickstart to becoming an AI specialist. That's what we're doing right now. At Dreamforce, Salesforce announced the Einstein 1 platform. This is the trusted AI platform that Salesforce is rolling out. The first 2 features I showed you earlier are a part of that rollout for the Einstein 1 platform. This includes data cloud, real-time data between all of your CRM apps. So you can see that in the middle of the picture there. On the right-hand side, you've got the Einstein trust layer, and then further right, of course, the Einstein himself helping us out here. On the bottom, that metadata framework is being unified across the entire platform. All of these components together make up the Einstein 1 platform. This is the revolutionary sort of brand change for Salesforce, and they're really going all in on integrating AI across the entire org. And what's going to happen is users are going to be using the org in a different way very soon. We're going to talk about that here because there are 2 key components that are rolling out with Einstein 1 that you need to know about as a Salesforce professional. One is Prompt Builder, and the second one is Skill Builder. And these are a part of Copilot Studio. I guess maybe before I talk about Copilot Studio, I should talk about Copilot. I mentioned it earlier, the example where we saw the chatbot on the right-hand side of the screen. Imagine that chatbot is kind of like ChatGPT, and it's available across the entire org. That is Copilot. Copilot is the new way that users will engage with the org and how Salesforce professionals will manage the org in the future. So learning how to use Copilot effectively are the skills that we're going to be learning as we go forward. it's not dissimilar to learning how to use a tool like ChatGPT effectively. So you'll see more of that as we go through this presentation. Prompt Builder, it's building prompts that are reusable throughout the org and used by multiple users, and that do specific things for users. Skill Builder is building custom skills inside your Copilot chatbot inside your org, so that when users show up to the chatbot, if you need specific things from that chatbot that's not a part of the standard functionality, you can build that skill. Kind of like how I showed you Flow GPT earlier, you're taking a flow and adding new functionality to it. It will be similar with Skill Builder inside Copilot. So we're going to talk about Prompt Studio here. This is a quick snapshot of what Prompt Studio is going to look like for you. This is not available yet, but it will be showing up at some point. So as I go into this and talk about Prompt Studio, the real skill set that is underlying your ability to utilize this functionality in Salesforce is prompt engineering. So being able to construct a prompt that gets the results that you want out of AI, that's what's important here. So Prompt Studio, you're creating templates, you're creating prompts that are going to be located in various places in the org that users can use. Those prompts are going to be structured with in this case, names and styles, and you'll choose a specific model. We can dive more into that as that feature, the functionality becomes available. When you're inside and building a prompt, and in this example here, they have this from Salesforce. They're building out an email prompt template. We all like to talk about emails. It's just one of the easiest things to talk about, but there's more examples, obviously, that you can use it for. But take a look at 1 through 4. Here we're building out a prompt using merge fields inside the prompt to pull in the data inside the prompt itself. And it's interesting to think about this and compare it to how we build email templates today. It's not dissimilar, except the difference is you're not saying exactly what you want said in the email. You're just kind of leveling up a little bit, and you're saying, here's what I love the email to sound like, basically. Here's the information I would love to include in the email. And then you let AI take it the rest of the way. You get that prompt template at the top. You've got a playground on the left-hand side where you can construct your prompt and see the results of that. And then on the right-hand side, see the results of the generated response from AI. You get to choose records to preview it with, which is really nice. And then on the right-hand side, as professionals here, we're looking at the configuration where we can configure things like the language, the style, who's the sender, what's the tone, the length of the response, and then the provider of the language model that you're using. So all brand new skill sets here. This is groundbreaking. This is not something that you're building on previous skill sets. I mean, maybe we could argue the merge fields, but that's barely anything to build on. We're totally looking at a new skill set here, and prompt engineering is going to become a key skill that you'll need to be successful within the Salesforce org. So I created this slide because AI is the term that's the overarching term, and we need to define where generative AI falls within this scope of artificial intelligence. So when I want to walk you from top to bottom, AI, that's artificial intelligence. That's machines that can think like humans, do tasks like reasoning, planning, learning, and decision-making. Anything that we said that only humans could do because we have these big brains. If an artificial machine can do that, or a machine can do that, we call that AI. Underneath the AI, within the scope of AI, we have the scope called machine learning. And this is machine learning, or ML. This is using data to create predictive models. So the focus there is predictive models. And Salesforce has, since 2016, predictive models using Einstein as well. One layer deeper than that, deep learning. Deep learning involves using neural nets, and specifically now large-scale neural nets, to learn and perform the tasks without actually being programmed with step-by-step instructions or with specific math equations. This is neural nets and weights. Okay, got it. Neural nets and weights, and we're feeding it data, and it's creating a network of information, or a network of weights within the nodes. I guess I have another slide on that, but anyway, neural nets, that's the focus there. Underneath that, inside of the deep learning scope, is generative AI. So we finally made it to the bottom. That's where generative AI exists. And that's what we're talking about. That's the main core tool that we're talking about when I'm showing you the examples above. So the name for this group is generative AI creates new content, and it's not limited to text, even though I'm showing you a lot of text items. We'll be getting into more of this stuff as Salesforce grows within the AI space. But text, it creates imagery, code, code gen, if you've heard of that, voice, video, and more. Talking about neural nets. So this is a quick, fun depiction of a large language model. So these are key terms. Again, this is your crash course into AI. Hopefully you're learning something new here. If not, and you've been through all the trailheads and you've got your AI associate cert, maybe you have covered a lot of this already, so it's just a refresher. But in large language models, those are your LLMs. You have all of these interconnected nodes with billions of parameters. The nodes in this picture, they're the circles. The weights are the connections between the nodes, and there's numerical values assigned as the weights. And when you have an input, such as a prompt, into a language model, the language model uses the nodes and the weights to use the GPT architecture to come up with what it thinks is the appropriate next best word, token, and full-on paragraphs as total text responses out of that. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about LLMs. You can train LLMs with structured data or unstructured data. So you can feed it, all the weights that the nodes need to have, along with data that's associated, or you could feed it information unstructured and let it actually come up with its own sort of connections between the information itself. Language models used to be smaller, in the millions of parameters. The traditional deep learning methods. Now we've moved on. We're growing up a little bit here in the LLM space, and we're onto billions of parameters. So the language models have grown significantly over time. What makes generative AI? Why is it so big now? We've got more data, we've got better algorithms, and we've got more compute power. So more data, the availability of large scale data, the ability to manipulate large scale data effectively. Better algorithms, especially in 2016, we had the GPT architecture sort of founded or published for the first time, and we've been building on that architecture ever since. And then with that architecture, it was so much faster. You've got an attention mechanism within the architecture, so your prompt can be so much larger, so much more complex, and AI knows where to focus within the prompt to get you appropriate responses. Then you've got computer power. Of course, as time goes on, we just keep pushing forward, pushing the needle on the ability to compute more and more. And so this trifecta has led to where we are today. We can't end a generative AI talk on the Salesforce platform without talking about that Einstein trust layer. This is a key focus of Salesforce. One of the first things that we talked about when ChatGPT rolled out was putting our customer data inside a third-party tool is just a bad idea. And so what we got out of that is the Einstein trust layer, where they've come up with a fantastic way to secure or retrieve data securely from our prompt, retrieve data securely, ground the prompt with the dynamic information that's available inside the org, mask personally identifiable information or information that should not be sent to third parties in its original state, like social security numbers. No retention when the data is received by the third party. In this case, OpenAI. They won't retain the information as it comes back to us, or the AI gets generated responses. It goes through a toxicity detection layer by Salesforce, looking for any toxicity within the response, and then Salesforce assigns that audit trail so that we can audit responses, the prompts and responses on our side, on the CRM side, and then provide the response to the actual user. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes within the trust layer. So that's how the trust layer works on a broad, sort of high-level scale here. Of course, there's a lot more detail within each of these blue boxes on what's going on in each layer. But at some point, we'll get some really good trailhead material around the trust layer itself, and we'll be able to take a deeper dive once Salesforce tells us exactly what's going on behind all of these blue boxes. Now we'll transition into talking more about the skill set. So I hope I covered something with that generative AI talk that maybe you hadn't heard before. and that helps you level up on your skills. It is important that we head down this path, and here is one of the key reasons why. Salesforce has published this research. 53%, 53% of workers don't know how to get the most value out of generative AI. 62% of workers say they don't have the skills to effectively and safely use generative AI. And then 70% of actual business leaders don't believe that their teams have the skill sets to effectively and safely use generative AI. And what does all this boil up to? It boils up to a lot of confusion, a lot of concern, a lot of maybe fear sometimes, because I think that the AI space continues to press forward and capabilities continue to expand, but we as a collective group have not leaned in quick enough to gain the skills fast enough to continue to expand with it. And so I think what we're watching is the capabilities just fly out in front of us, and we're sort of trying to catch up. And I think that's one of the core reasons why I'm even here today talking during the session. I want everyone to have the skills that you need in order to take advantage of this technology, of this new architecture, and specifically inside the Salesforce ecosystem, where Salesforce is sort of forging the way in the CRM to help us do that. So the big question on the table is, what can we actually do today? Seriously, what can we do today to tackle these skills? And so here is a pretty solid chart on a path that you can follow to do that. First up is to keep up. So your first goal, because AI is moving so quickly, is you want to stay informed. You want to know what's happening. So AI news and announcements, of course, we get that from Salesforce. We get that from various news outlets, but I also post specific Salesforce announcements over on LinkedIn. So if you didn't already, just go ahead and connect with me on LinkedIn. We have an AI Force training YouTube channel, so check that out. We post news over there. We have an AI Force training TikTok channel as well. Again, you can follow along there. And then that's for the keep up section. So make sure you keep up. Make sure you're on top of what's going on in the Salesforce space. Show up to the San Ramon user group meeting so that you can see what's actually available today and what's not quite available yet. Then we've got learning fundamentals. So learning the generative AI fundamentals, I touched on some of the stuff today. Salesforce has a great trailhead for generative AI fundamentals. It's a little bit lengthy, so there's a lot of content there, and it kind of goes in different areas maybe that aren't as important right now. But there's a lot of good information in there. So I do recommend hitting the trails and just taking a look at what Salesforce has on their generative AI space. And I do have a link over there on the right-hand side for that. Then we have use it professionally. So the blue circle there, use it professionally. I mentioned earlier that 40% quality of work improvement and that 25% faster. You can work 25% faster earlier from the study by Stanford and Boston Consulting Group. That's real, and that's just using ChatGPT alone, no other tools. So I think that's that's sort of in your face. Like if you're not using ChatGPT today for any, pick something. If you're not using it every day for something, just something, then you're probably not getting the value that you could be or should be getting out of it today. So highly recommend take a look at ChatGPT or tools like ChatGPT and try to integrate it into your workflow. It's something we push inside of AI Force training as well. And then for the final bubble on the far right there, and I should mention, so under the use it professionally, I have a link there. It says learn to use AI tools like ChatGPT professionally, aiforcetraining.com/waitlist. But don't go to that just yet. I've got another slide next that I think you're gonna like a little bit better than that. Finally is implementing solutions. Implement AI solutions inside your org. So there are third-party vendor tools that are available today. There's FlowGPT, which I showed you earlier, which I think is the quickest way to get the most value out of AI inside your org. But there are things out there right now, things that you can use if you're on the unlimited edition. Of course, you can use the first two tools that I showed you. Lean into these tools, go learn them. These are your ticket to being proficient in AI as we go forward within the Salesforce organization or within the Salesforce org itself. As Salesforce professionals, we need to be bringing these tools to our companies. Okay, so talking about AI Force training, I have a specific page set up for you guys, aiforcetraining.com/San Ramon. And I want to show you a little bit about what we're doing at AI Force Training, why I have this program, what we're teaching. On the left, you see a picture of ChatGPT. So we go into a intense deep dive about how to learn how to prompt ChatGPT the right way, different methods you can use to prompt it, why the prompts actually work, why other prompts don't work. We talk about tons of different use case scenarios. I'll show you in just a moment. On the right-hand side, we've got the AI Force GPT. That's our own internal chatbot tool, or our own tool that is a part of our program. We teach on both ChatGPT and AI Force GPT. AI Force is more geared towards Salesforce, towards the Salesforce platform and Salesforce solutions. So, it's just something to help you do your job better. And then we've got the GPT specialist, the first ever sort of Salesforce professional AI certification that existed. This is before the AI associate cert. Really proud of Salesforce for going out there and opening up an AI cert as quickly as they did. They did a great job with that. I do want to mention, just before I show the actual training itself, I do have a limited time promo code for you all, San Ramon. Once you go to airforcetraining.com/San Ramon, if you take a look at what we have offered, and if you are prepared to enroll, I would say go ahead and do that. Use code San Ramon for 20% off. That's for a limited time. That's going to be for 3 days. I want to take you over to the training itself, though, and show you what we're actually doing here. So this is what the actual training material is. It's just chock full of videos and the actual lessons themselves. To talk through AI, we go through course orientation, effective use, effective communication with AI, talking about those fundamentals. We have our own SMART methodology that we teach you on how to engage with artificial intelligence, or with ChatGPT specifically, AI Force GPT. Inside, we go through, I'll show you here. I'll scroll on down. Yeah, we go through and we do teaching on using AI Force GPT. So that's on the left. So every lesson we do this, we teach you on the AI Force GPT, so you get hands-on with that tool. And then we also teach you on the ChatGPT tool as well. We solve the same solutions using both tools, and they're all Salesforce specific, and they're all the way we structure it is as if you're working on a project, a Salesforce project. We introduced this company called SaaS United, and we walk through all of these requirements that SaaS United has, and we teach you actually how to solve for those requirements using AI Force GPT and ChatGPT. Really interactive, copy and paste, lots of screenshots, all the good stuff that you would expect out of some quality training. We go through validation rule use cases, formula field use cases, building SOCL, triggers, other capabilities, limitations. And if I said SOCL and triggers and you were like, "Ooh, I'm out. That's not me. That's too advanced for me." Well, you'd be surprised, because what's happening with AI now is you can accomplish so much more beyond your current level of capability. It's this really fantastic phenomenon. As you dig in, you find out that you can go beyond your current level of capability, and that's what you learn as you go through these modules. You can sort of start to step into more of developer or architect or business analyst roles that you weren't in before, didn't have the skill set before, because AI helps you get there, helps you level up just a little bit past where you're at today. Once we dive through all of that content, we then go into the Flow GPT section. So this is deep into prompt engineering, applied prompt engineering. Once you get the prompt engineering down, we introduce you into Flow GPT. We go through an actual example where you've got an org open, and you go in and you structure and build Flow GPT, just like the example I showed you earlier. And you sample it, you test it, you run it, you debug it, and I talk you all through that, all the details on how to get that done. So the goal is for you to actually walk away and have the knowledge that you need, and have the reps under your belt for actually how to get this done, so you can go to your org and do it in your org as well. So then after that, we get into advanced Flow GPT, and then we wrap up, and you take your GPT specialist certification exam. And if you can pass that, which I'm sure you can, then you walk away with that GPT specialist cert, which employers are let's get back over here, which employers are looking at. So they're excited to hire and bring on talent or upskill current talent with AI skill sets. All employers know that they need this. All employers are hearing the message from Salesforce, and they know what's here and what's coming with AI. And they internally on their plans need to skill up professionals with AI and how to use these tools. Everything that you learn when you're learning on ChatGPT or AI Force GPT, and this prompt engineering skill set, this is all going to be applicable and transfer and translate right over into Prompt Builder for Salesforce and right into Skills Builder for Salesforce. The way that these tools are being structured, they're using the same fundamental architecture, the same fundamental generative AI. So if you learn and you know AI, you're going to be able to slide right into Prompt Builder, slide right into Skill Builder, and be able to effectively use them from day one. And I think that is just fantastic. So the skills, the bottom line here is that the skills that you learn are actually going to compound. And that's why I say lean in, because these skills are going to compound. Who is the AI training for? It's for everyone. No one is left out. AI is absolutely going across the entire ecosystem in Salesforce, and it's going to change how everything is done. It won't be immediate, but it's going to compound slowly over time. So if you're the kind of person who waits and waits and waits, you're going to find yourself behind. If you're the kind of person who leans in and gets interested and finds at least a little nugget of fun AI to dive into and get down into the rabbit hole, that's going to be really beneficial for you. You're going to gain from that. You're going to benefit from that over time. Just a quick list here: practical example use cases for ChatGPT for Salesforce, problem solving, writing training documents, validation rules, formula fields, which we've talked about a little bit, summarizing key topics for large text, general knowledge on Salesforce topics when you're doing configuration inside Salesforce, Salesforce setup support, writing triggers, Apex code, flow diagrams, email templates, and the list just goes on and on. And you start to, identify these use cases once you really feel like you've got a good grasp on GPT, how to use it, how to use these tool sets. GPT specialist program, that's what we call it over AI Force training. We're closing the skill gap. That's our goal. If you do sign up, please use that 20% off. Don't forget to do that if you sign up for the AI Force platform. So AI Associates, let's talk about AI Associates. The AI Associate cert is available from Salesforce. They've got a great trailhead that you can go through, and it's the AI that you come out, the information that you come out with from the AI Associate trailhead is less actionable. So you're not really going to be able to go back to your org and really do anything different with that information. But I think the AI Associate is the right step. It's sort of putting the stake in the sand and saying, hey, this is the basic information you want to have as an AI person inside Salesforce. And it's all about generative AI. It's all about data. It's all about trust. It's all about, these core things, these core principles that you want to know about if you're going to be dealing with generative AI going forward. So I do recommend it. If you don't want to get the cert, that's fine. At least go through the trails and poke around and just gain some of that skill set. Again, it's just super important that you start gaining those skills today instead of waiting, a year or two from now. Then Prompt Builder shows up and then all of a sudden you're behind. So Prompt Builder is going to use, so I actually already mentioned that. Prompt Builder is where you're going to use the skills that you learned when you're learning ChatGPT, and Skill Builder is going to use the skills that you learn when you're learning Flow GPT. So bottom line, lean in, learn, enjoy. And if you ever have questions, please just feel free to reach out to me. We'll take some questions now, I think, since we're at the end here. And I hope I inspired you a little bit. I hope I gave you something that you hadn't seen before, and I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, that was
All right.
awesome, Matt. So thanks very much. Um, I actually had this poll, so we can gauge where people are at. So I'll start the poll so people can participate.
That'd be great.
Everyone, can you please participate in the poll? I think people, I'm not seeing anyone yet. Okay, some have started. There are 3 questions. Can you quickly answer? One is simple. Yeah. Okay.
The questions are too long. People take time to read it, right? So
One is easy, who all have cleared the AI associate certification. The second is, what is your favorite science fiction book, movie, or TV show that explores AI, and why did you like it? I mean, just mention the book or TV show. Don't have to talk about why. Do you use any AI-powered devices or applications in your daily life? If so, which ones do you find most helpful? Just mention the device. Ignore the second part. All right. Four have answered. We have 3 more people. I'm waiting.
we can't answer over here, so we can just say.
Huh?
We can't answer because of the host on the site.
Oh, you can't
That's true.
answer?
Yeah, I can't answer it either.
Yeah, so that,
Oh,
that's
can I make
fine.
you know? Can I remove
No,
you?
that's fine. That's okay. I can. And Mark, that's the first certification I got over here. That was the AI associate. I got a Dreamforce. Okay, let's do it, kind of thing. And that's
Yes.
kind of thing. And
I couldn't wait.
Easy. I don't know. Did you get
I did. I got it. I had scheduled to take it at Dreamforce because I thought that'd be really nice to.
That's
Which one of these, Sheeba? This is the
avatars.
avatars. Yeah. Okay.
So if you want to have a poker face with no expression.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everyone is showing up, right? Okay. Jana's there too. Okay. Hey. I like to keep my real face on, so that's good, right?
Do the share screen. I can't share screen.
Yeah.
And because I removed your access.
Yeah, I can just quickly show the little bit of the nonprofit cloud to people and give Premier. We'll do a better session next time on this one in more detail.
Okay, you got the access back.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So just do a very quick run through of what we are working on. Like we have
Sorry.
It's okay. Do you think? Oh, you can now get it right. Yeah. You guys can see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically we came up with the
Sorry.
1 second, so right. So just give you an overview of the new nonprofit cloud that we're working on. So basically, Salesforce introduced a new nonprofit cloud. It was in the spring, and some people have already seen bits and pieces of it in the at Dreamforce. So what we did was we have a nonprofit known as Kind Cause, and basically we said, okay, hey, why? I guess something similar to what Mark has. Okay, let AI be used by all. We are passionate about why not all these nonprofits also they're so tech challenged. Why don't they use some kind of technology so they can do more with less, right? Because but the thing is also tech used, right? So I've seen so much inefficiencies on the technology these guys use also in the market. So that's why we came up with, okay, why not have a kind of a platform that we create for the nonprofits. Every nonprofit will have a different roadmap. Like every person has a different journey, because some nonprofits are small, some are big. So we came up with the name as KindX, right? .org. So feel free to look at the website, and we'll just we'll populating more and more of it. So we have some volunteers working on it. We're also on the team over here, but we will present more in details. So we're calling it the all-in-one cloud platform, right? So key thing is it can do fundraising, but like Salesforce cannot do a few things. It can only do the backend piece. So we're integrating with the outside piece of it. So for example, if you go down to fundraising piece of it, it's a digital fundraising. So basically everyone gets nobody likes to wait for in traffic. It can be annoying. Similarly, nobody wants to be waiting for the donations checks coming inside, right? So basically it takes time. If you see a traditional way, a lot of nonprofits are still waiting for checks to come in. And there was a kind of study done by Accenture. They said, okay, 71% of the donors rank effectiveness of donation as the top 3 considerations. when selecting a nonprofit to donate to. So in cases there are two nonprofits with similar kind of mission. So in case of nonprofit, for example, there are two kind of styles, right? One is you write a check, you mail a check, you deliver a check. It takes about 10 days, 10 to 12 days before the process comes in. Other option is you can just basically just donate it online and money comes in a couple of days. And if you want, like for nonprofits can do one step up, they can use a tool like CRM, like Salesforce or some other tool, but primarily Salesforce that we are more comfortable with. You do that, and plus you have automated reporting too along with that. And I've not even added the more Gen AI stuff that you can do with it, personalization and stuff like that. That's much more than top, right? So like digital giving might be like, okay, you can do text to donate. People can try it out. You text of what kind to this number is 44321, or you scan barcode, or you can just click on the link and basically it goes on to a donation form, right? So that's what a donation form looks like, and you just donate amount, monthly, recurring. It's pretty straightforward kind of thing, right? So this is kind of, and is all integrated back in Salesforce, right? So, and another tools, basically, let's go back to the other. CRM, a lot of people have seen that kind of thing, but we're talking about it's very difficult to say in the nonprofit world, very difficult to say who are your customers, right? Say, okay, hey, say call it. So then we call it the community relationship management, because we all live in a community and we are basically there kind of thing. It integrates everything. So basically nonprofits kind of giving the easy burden to the nonprofits. Basically, we're trying to unite all the relationships, all the data, and all the systems. So that's why we looked at different softwares, like looking at it as a nonprofit. And finally, we landed at Salesforce, right? The only thing was, the problem with Salesforce was people thought it was complicated. So we made it simplified, right? So that's what we're doing for the nonprofit, so they can actually use it. And in case any nonprofit doesn't want to introduce productivity, doesn't want to improve efficiency, all right, don't use it, right? Basically, you want to stuck up with the old technology, you don't want to see that stuff. So what we did basically was we used Salesforce, we added our customizations on top of it, and we'll add more customizations. Mark, we need to talk offline on how we can use AI to even customize it even more. But that's what basically we can keep on making it, and kind of making a CRM solution for the nonprofits that they can actually use, right? Kind of thing. Another one quick feature would be like, a lot of nonprofits, then they go down, once they have the basic stuff done, they need to know, okay, hey, what are programs, right? How do I manage my programs, right? To manage the programs, basically, they have the mission, all this, so you can get the report of how much impact you're making by number of people who are there and the status of the participants. You can get automatic dashboard reporting coming from how much work people are doing, what people attending, what sessions they attended, so on and so forth, right? Kind of, and their service tracking. So there's a lot of stuff basically people can track during the program side. And on the other side, if you see when you do programs, in some people you have the case management and service management, and that's what Mark was talking about in the service side. This is without using AI tools, but that you can say even you can build AI tools on top of that too. And when you build up the tools on AI, basically in the cases, it's like streamline your intake process of who's like, you can assign the actions, you can create the workflows, you can build in, and you have each client has their own unique record, and you can track their live events. It's very, this new nonprofit cloud is very similar to the financial services cloud, and see, you can track the events, live events, and you can actually do a lot of cool stuff on this the cloud that we're working on now. The next one is the outcomes. Now, I'm super excited about outcomes. Now, why would you think about it, right? Why would somebody donate to a nonprofit if you cannot even measure where my money went? So imagine, right, you got 10 nonprofits you're going to select to make a donation to, you're still trying to figure out. Maybe like, even if you use a ChatGPT or some other AI tool, it'll say, okay, I would like to understand where they're spending the money, where they're making the maximum impact. And that's what outcomes mean, right? And the outcome measurement is all inbuilt. Once you have that, you can actually have the reporting done of the outcomes. So you don't have the reports yet, but bottom line is overall, we'll be measuring all the, what we call the outcomes of how the money is being spent by the nonprofits. In addition to that, what we're doing is we're keeping it open source solution because it is a mission. So we have kind of created Condex docs, we call it, is docs.condex.org. To give an idea to the people, like how the nonprofit CEOs I was talking to, for example, this is into the, is it like a user story? Hey, our CEO would like to see how my donations are being spent. Yeah, okay, so this is like a dashboard, like typically like all people in Salesforce, they understand, hey, what a dashboard means, right? But if you talk to a third person, they don't understand what the dashboard means. And we said, okay, hey, let's go one step further. We'll teach you how to even read a dashboard. Hey, number one, this basically means donations for the year. I say, hey, we explain you what it is. But once you know what it is, kind of thing, donation by different fiscal years and so on and so forth, right? But there might be another CEO who might be looking at dashboard, I call it time machine dashboard. Hey, they would like to keep on changing the filters on top, have data by different years and different quarters, different stuff like that. And this is slightly different kind of dashboard. So just giving a flavor of the dashboards. We are still working through this documentation to have more and more of the new nonprofit cloud dashboards and reports. They're still coming in, but it will be a lot of documentation for a lot of nonprofits, so they can actually, even if they're looking at it, they can say, wow, I would love to have that kind of stuff and solution, right? So we're working through another kind of offering for the nonprofits that more and more nonprofits can adopt like technology so that they make it easy, so they can see the final result first and they can come back. And in addition to that, what we also want is we also bringing like a lot of volunteers, like there are a couple of people on the volunteers on the call right now. They are bringing them into the Salesforce ecosystem, and they can say implement Salesforce for the nonprofits too at the same time too. So we'll have a more bigger session so we can go deeper dive and give a live demo for the different stuff. So I call it like a Lego blocks, like Salesforce is kind of thing. And one Lego block, which I do not have too much session over here, is what Mark's piece was there, talking about the AI piece. But we're just going step by step. And Mark, I need to collaborate with you later on in the future on coming down to the AI piece on this one to see, okay, hey, the AI is very, very important. And we need to have the AI component on this one too. Then you can even increase the collaboration piece on that one, right? All right. So Sheeba, I'll give it back to you. So and we can do a more detailed session next time on this one, on the nonprofit cloud.
Yeah, I think we are now almost wrapping up now. We had good coverage on both the topics. And yeah. And just wanted to also share that a fun fact about Mark, right? Which I forgot to share. So sorry to put the spotlight back on you, but he was one of the first 2000 beta testers of Tesla full service driver cars.
Cool.
How did you feel doing that?
And I'm glad you're still nice and alive sitting in front of us, right? Say, okay, hey, beta tester, say, okay, hey.
Yeah, it's still, I made it. Here I am today. No, it's true. Yeah, I have a Tesla Model Y, and you know, being in the AI space, Tesla's full self-driving is an extremely incredible neural net processing program where it's got, you know, Tesla is built with cameras on the outside of the car, doing a 360 view outward, and it's processing these videos, these images, processing on a pixel level. So the color that it identifies in each pixel within an image that it's seeing through the camera, and running that through the neural net along with some of their own coding. They're moving away from their own coding, but running that through a neural nets, plural, and distilling all of the image information down into actual a robot, the car, to perform the functions of steering and accelerating and braking and turn signals and lane selection and maneuvering and red lights and stop signs and distance. And you wouldn't believe how complex it is to drive a car until you watch, you know, a company like Tesla, one of the largest, becoming one of the largest automakers in the world, actually try to tackle this job of creating a fully autonomous vehicle. So one of the things that they did is they started the beta program, and they made the software available to users, drivers, or, you know, owners of the vehicles. So you could sign up. So I signed up, and yeah, they're collecting the data from the vehicles, from the fleet of vehicles, and then running that to train the neural nets. It's the new training data that comes in. They train the neural net and they roll out new versions. And so it's been a while since the beta program started. So it's much larger today, a lot more participants, and even they've published the sort of the final results of that. And so if you have a car today, you can purchase full self-driving and actually use it on city streets and the highways. And it's a fantastic demonstration of artificial intelligence in our actual daily lives. It's really nice, really interesting.
Like how long can you go without touching the wheel and stuff?
It depends on your appetite for excitement. You can, I have a drive to my son's school and back. It's about a 25 minutes one way. I could let the vehicle do the entire drive without disengaging. But there are certain points where it would actually be a little uncomfortable for a passenger in the car. So maybe getting too close to another car, or like someone pulls out to the median, so the car slams on the brakes because it's concerned